Hello, and welcome to this video on the WMD and Infrasonic Audio Cosmic Debris, a fascinating performable time and space-based effect that goes from the shortest delays through modulation effects, resonator and Karplus Strong sounds, through a wide range of delay and echo effects, into huge or small reverbs. Here's what's to come in the video. This video is sponsored by WMD. So Cosmic Debris started out as a design from Nick at Infrasonic Audio, who over a couple of years was working on creating, and I quote, an amazingly good sounding reverb effect in Eurorack, while also aiming to design an interface that was fun and rewarding to play, not just something to set and forget. Nick ended up showing this to WMD and they all started sharing ideas, and the decision to work together and collaborate on the module was born. And nicely, Nick is now part of that team at WMD going forward. If you're interested in all of this, I have an interview with Nick on my website that I'll link down below if you're interested. To quickly summarise Cosmic Debris, it's 16 delay lines with filtering, multiple feedback options, onboard modulation, pitch shifting shimmer options, lots of easily customisable behaviours, and glitchy artefact options too, and there's lots of CV to modulate and control everything externally. There's lots of features to go through, so skip ahead in the video if you like, but before running down those features, I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters. Some of them sent in audio for this video, which you'll see throughout, and you'll find links to them down in the timing index below too. And just to emphasise, this verbal feature rundown that's about to come is going to sound massive. There's lots of ways to customise the behaviour of Cosmic Debris creatively or just to suit your workflow and patching. But importantly, you don't need to know all of this right away, and I started using Cosmic Debris without reading the manual and just kind of following along with the panel. So I hope this long rundown is encouraging of all the things that you can explore, as opposed to something that seems challenging due to its depth. The interface makes it simple and rewarding to use, but again, skip ahead if you like. So getting into the features, Cosmic Debris is a stereo input and stereo output device, and we have a button top left to access shift or secondary functions. The main functions are all labelled with a border around them, and then without a border and italics underneath, you'll find their secondary functions. We have the delay time control that going counterclockwise speeds up and then slows down going clockwise, and if you clock this with an external clock source, or you tap in tap tempo on that button, this becomes a multiplication or division of that clock. And the secondary function there under time is your pre-delay, and that's a time offset between the input and that sound actually reaching the delay lines. Really handy for when you get into reverb effects. Spray changes the relative lengths of all the delay lines, resulting in simpler, more standard delays when this is down, and those delay lines spreading out in different ways depending on what mode you're in as you turn it up. Spray is your main control to go from more standard type echoes all the way down and to more reverberant like washes when it's up. The secondary control for spray is a side chain, and that actually ducks the wet effect signal against the input signal. And this is a superb music production trick for keeping clarity in the dry sound when using lots of spatial feeding back big ambient effects. But it can also be a more extreme creative pumping sound where your effects kind of bloom up after that initial level when you've played a sound at the input. Scatter changes the delay feedback routings. When fully counterclockwise, all the delay lines just feed into themselves, and as you go clockwise around that control, they increasingly feed back into each other. The secondary control for scatter is slew rate, and this lets you put cosmic debris into a crossfade mode when you turn this all the way down, and when you're in that crossfade mode, both time and spray will give no artifacts. They crossfade cleanly between their time settings, so you don't get any of that repitching effect that you'd get with, say, an analog or tape style delay. As you turn up the slew rate, it takes an increasing amount of time to reach those new time or spray settings as you turn the knobs or you use CV to modulate them. This creates rising or falling transitional pitch effects and the doppler shifts that you might expect from adjusting delay lines. Mod controls the depth of your onboard modulation, which comes from 16 LFOs for the 16 delay lines, and it's off when it's all the way counterclockwise and increases in modulation depth as it's turned up. The secondary control here is spread, which pushes the 16 LFOs out of phase with each other, giving what WMD says a more textured modulation, and it really opens up that stereo image nicely too. Rate controls the rate of those modulation LFOs, and its secondary function is shape, and you can continuously crossfade between sines to triangles to a smooth random waveform. The big knob here in the middle is feedback, which goes from 0 up to full at this affinity symbol, and that's 100% feedback there. And then beyond this, it adjusts to add more gain into the feedback network. The secondary control for feedback is anomaly, and that creates anomalies, glitches, digital lo-fi-like failures and noise in this delay stream, as it adds bit reduction and pitched buffer stutters. Mix controls the dry to wet blend for the stereo output, but by holding shift and pressing the kill button, you can actually put this into send mode, shown on this red LED here. And in that send mode, your dry sound always passes through, and this becomes a send level, only sending sound into these delay lines when it's turned up or when you modulate it. The secondary control for mix there is the wet gain, and that's a direct volume control over the effect sound where you can boost or cut the level, and that's going to change how that mix and balance feels as you play with it. And the final two knobs here control a series of bandpass filters in each of the delay lines. Center controls the frequency of these bandpass filters, and width controls the width of them, with a wider open frequency spectrum to the left and a much thinner, tighter band of frequencies as you turn this up. The secondary function to center there is warp factor, and when you're in the warp mode, this adds a pitch shifting shimmer, and in the center it offers no pitch shift, and then in quantized semitones goes up to an octave above and down to an octave below. So jumping up to the buttons at top, we've already seen the shift button there for the secondary functions and your tap tempo button. We have blast, which when enabled, and it's a momentary control, this boosts the initial gain with soft saturation plus a feedback and send level boost. The secondary function to blast is actually your mode selection, going through blur, ratio, and warp, as you'll see on these LEDs. And these modes all affect the timing distribution of the delays and how the spray control works. With no spray control in blur, all of the delay lines are the same length, and as you increase the spray control, all these delay lines shorten while the first remains at the original time setting. In ratio mode, with spray at 0, every other delay line is 2 times longer, creating some nice stereo movement. And as you turn up the spray, the delay times spread out to different lengths that are locked into musical ratios of the main delay time. And finally, warp mode is your pitch shimmer mode. It's similar to the blur, but it places the pitch shifters controlled by the warp factor here in those delay lines. And you can adjust that, as we say, from an octave down to an octave up in quantized semitones. The next button along here is freeze, and this is a momentary control that cuts the input to the delay lines. It freezes that feedback up full, and it bypasses any filters, modulation and pitch shifting. And for the blast and freeze buttons there, you can assign this gate input to them. The secondary function there for freeze, as I press that and tap, shifts through selecting whether you're gating the blast, the freeze, or an additional glitch effect at that gate input. The next button along is kill, and really handily this happens when you release the button as opposed to when you press it. And what this does is clears all the delay lines with a click-free fade. And as I say, that happens as you release the button, so you can queue up some kind of huge effects and transitions and let go in time when you're ready to kill that. And you have a gate input for kill as well. The secondary control for kill is that send mode for your mix profile, allowing you to be in send or a full dry wet blend on that mix control. And the final button there is that tap tempo control that takes over as you start tapping, but you can hold shift and press that to put it in a free mode as well, that then comes off of any clocking or tap tempos. There's also a snapshot load and save button down here, and loads of CV control for everything that's bookmarked by these stereo ins and outs, with the addition of the clock, the direct kill gate and that assignable gate. And as I say, there's CV over everything here. So as I said before I got into the features, I realise that's a lot to take in. It feels like I've spoke forever here. But you don't need to know all this to get going, and I hope that comes across a really big positive for all that you can explore. And with me running the features down this way, as I always do at the start of the demos, I hope this provides a reference point for those features for you. As always, the timing index is down below, so skip around as you like. There's lots of examples of really performable, musical and great sounding effects. Without further ado, let's dive in. So this patch is all about modulated effects, and really heavily with a sequence here modulating lots of parameters, shifting between kind of delay washes, big chorusy reverse-like effects and kind of hits of reverb, all being pulled around by a step sequence. I'll bring the mix up close to 50-50 and we'll have a listen before checking out the dry sound and building back up the patch. So here's the dry sound. It's a Karplus Strong kind of polyphonic string-like sound. This sequence is actually used on the dry sound, so there's already some kind of steppy tonal change on the dry sound itself. Now taking this fully wet, this is clocked, and with spray down, just like a nice washy, kind of characterful echo or delay. And I'm going to modulate this with the exact same sequence over multiple parameters across the CV inputs. I was modulating the amount of modulation and feedback. And you can hear there when that sequence pushes up high, it kind of blisses out into more chorus-like sounds. Feedback was modulated as well. As was the center frequency, the filter there, and also the scatter effect. And dropping this back just under 50-50 dry wet. You can hear how that one sequence, that one modulation sequence, really pushes and pulls between these different spaces, echoes, reverses, swells. And then I was gating at the blast control here, just with a random gate, playing off my sequence's clock. Adding further kind of blooms and rhythmic bursts into those effects. This is so good. I'm throwing around cosmic debris here with the initial idea of taking it from being a delay to a reverb across a series of bars over this beat, maybe 2 or 4 bars. But then I got to playing with a bit more modulation, killing that effects kind of stream or trail, modulating colour and the scatter pattern of those delays. And if I just mute this in the mix, which I can do externally, let me remove the modulation. It's quite a nice kind of energetic beat. I can mute a couple of elements there. I've also got the mutes on my mixer to remove them. And if I mute everything in the mix, this is what's coming out of Cosmic Debris. It's just processing my clap and snare drum. There, that is dry. Just coming in mono, stereo out to the mixer. But I wanted to morph this over a series of bars from a more echo-like sound through modulating spray out to feeling more like a reverb. So using an LFO here, it's a ramp wave that modulates over 4 bars, patching that into spray. And you can hear those kind of delays unwind into these dispersed, more reverberant, diffused spaces. And once I patched that in, I was moving the colour around that centre frequency. And I thought modulating that unsynced, so I have an unsynced triangle LFO, would work nicely against the synced modulation. So here's an LFO into centre frequency. And then I got into ideas of, on the start of every bar, hitting that kill, which just kills that effect stream. So you can see when this happens on this LED cable. And that really shows that difference in the spray being modulated over 4 bars there. We've got more standard echoes, then they disperse into that more reverberant space, resetting each bar, having kind of 4 stages. That was a bit intense, so I'm moving to every 2 bars, hitting that kill. And it really shows how Cosmic Debris is pushing and pulling it in and out of those different spaces. On the same clock as the kill, I have a random voltage. It's this yellow trace and yellow cable here. That's going to scatter. So every time we kill this, now every 2 bars, every 4 snare hits, we're changing the scatter pattern in those delays randomly. It takes 4 bars to modulate the spray. And just an unsynced shifting of the centre there, shifting the sound and overall tone. Now beat back in dry. I'll just raise the volume of this from nothing to full in the mix. I think it sounds great. It's really engaging, interesting effects again, with just some kind of thought through modulation in terms of when I kill it, when I clock it, and how we shift from delay to reverb. So here I'm exploring reverb, and I'll go through the settings that led to this sound, and also build up some shimmer reverbs. And let's start with the dry sound. It's a Rhodes piano set to a load of kind of lo-fi vinyl effects. So there's a kind of platter shifting rumble and some crackle and noise. That's all present on the audio loop. They're not artifacts from Cosmic Debris. Now going fully wet. We're in blur here. I've turned the spray up full and just adjusted the time, scatter, modulation and center to provide a nice reverberant tone. And what's really nice is we actually have a pre-delay, which isn't that common on many modular reverb effects. If I hold shift here and turn that down, maybe go less feedback too, you'll notice this space, as soon as the keys hit, the space is there instantly. A pre-delay is almost like the length of your room, your reverberant space, before that first reflection kind of blooms and slaps back at you. So with this set as is, I'll hold shift and turn up the pre-delay, and you'll hear the reverb kind of separate in time off of those transients on the keys. And then playing with time. We can make shorter, cleaner spaces, even really have them ring. We're turning up time. You can get these lovely long blooms. Now if I shift across to warp here, we can get into shimmer reverb effects. And the warp factor, which is the shift function of center, controls your pitch shifting for that shimmer. So holding shift, you can have different intervals feeding back and shimmering there. You can have them go down. So rather than feeding back with a rising pitch shift, they shift down. And for higher melodic parts, a kind of octave down shimmer sometimes works really well. Let's go fully up here. Your classic kind of higher octave shimmers. And what's nice is you can have these work almost like shimmer echoes, granular pitch shifted delay lines, as opposed to that more obvious shimmer reverb. So here I'm exploring the send mode, which is like an alternate control for the mix. When send is enabled, the mix level becomes the send level to send into these effects. And when you then remove that level and stop sending to the effects, you're not turning down the mix. Whatever's in there continues to trail, while the dry sound always passes through. Now outside of that, I have a little warp core and aperture drone here. I'll remove it for now. And let's first go to, without any modulation, just a normal mix mode. As it has been through the rest of the video, this goes from 100% dry to 100% wet. And you can hear my clock delay. I might also just push spray up full here and go for some more reverberant effects throughout this example. But sticking with delay, if I then turn down this mix in the normal mode this is, it just removes the wet level fully, nothing trails across. But by holding shift and pressing kill, where we can see send is its second function underneath the button there, the send LED comes on in red, and this mix control is now the send level. So as I turn it up, the dry sound just remains unaffected. The wet sound is always mixed in at the end, so the trails in the feedback and reverberant delays are always present. But this just stops sending into the effects in the first place. And again, if I spray this out to be more of a reverb type thing, you can hear that trails. So CV over mix then becomes CV over that send, and you can be really creative with that. My sound here is a 7-step sequence from Platts The last step, the 7th step, has a varying random pitch on it. And on that 7th step, I have this envelope, green trace and green cables. And I'm going to use that to send that final step into the effects. So hopefully you can hear how that's different to just continually sending sound in. Where all the notes and all the steps in the sequence add to that reverb. Just kill that. And we can then get creative with killing it and create gated reverb effects. The blue trace here, currently not showing anything, and the blue cables are patched into kill. And if I add a gate a couple of steps or a few steps after this one, we fire in with the green step, and then the blue gate kills that chain. And I'm just adjusting on my sequencer off screen how close those are in relation to each other. If I actually kill this on the step just before sending it in, so I kill on step 6, send in this envelope on step 7, get a really interesting effect where we only reverberate one note in the pattern. It fires sound in and then kills and fires again. This works well when we're also doing this with a delay, just turning spray down to get back to a delay sound, and I'll kill any artifacts. We get single note repeating, kill and then fire again. I'll turn off the gate that's going to kill. And hopefully you're as kind of mesmerised by this as I am. Drone back in. It's just another real kind of creative musical quality of life feature that I just seem to keep finding here in Cosmic Debris by reading the manual or playing around. It presents another cool thing that it does. But yeah, would save me a couple of modules at least. So here's some Patreon supporter audio, thanks to FX Music for sending this in. And with this dry sound, let's just hear this dry sound first. Nice bass, resonant chord stabs and swells. I thought using the send feature here to actually send in kind of like dub echo throws would be a nice way to go. And as I started to modulate that mix with send selected, with this triangle LFO here, triangle cable, I thought I'd just go all out and just use lots of just free running triangle LFOs to just push this around. I'm modulating that bandpass filter's frequency, we're modulating the feedback, the modulation rate, the modulation itself, the scattering feedback. I'm just going to be quiet and let this evolve for a moment, and then we'll maybe spray this out into a reverb rather than a kind of more typical delay-like effect. Now, of course, you can be totally variable anywhere in between, kind of echo and delay at the two sides of the spray control. But let's just spray it out fully. I'll hit kill as I do it. And play around with more reverberant, reverb-like effects. Here we're exploring the sidechain on my synth voice, and I'm not sidechaining it against the kick drum, but rather using the internal sidechain to sidechain the wet against the input dry sound, which is one of my favourite production techniques for cleaning up big effects chains, letting you have lots of dense effects that don't cloud the input signal. Now, muting Cosmic Debris, Trinity and some of the WMD drums here provides our beat. Now this is all secondary to Cosmic Debris, which is processing this warp core sound. I have an envelope and a VCA. and then random voltages to the tonal parameters and the phase distortion kind of FM-like sound engine. That's the inputs here, and if I remove the sidechain and then go fully wet, here's just a big, nice clock delay, some modulation, scattered times here in that blur mode. But blending in, say 50-50, but with that much delay, it's very busy, it's very dense, and well, that suits the drums. It's just too intense and it's masking that dry sound. So if I hold shift here and turn the spray control, whose shift function is sidechain, it will duck the wet signal against the dry sound. If I go fully wet to make this really clear, hopefully you can hear this ducking and growing. Let's just back that off slightly. So as I go back to a 50-50 mix, you can hear that sound, that dry sound, really clearly, while still having lots of that effect. And it's responsive to the input signal, so if I make this say longer, you can hear that dry clamping that wet down, and then the wet blooming in the gaps between the notes. Drums back in. Let's keep this on reverb for a moment, sprayed out. We'll bring that spray back round to be an echo and then kill it, so we just get a really clean kind of entry into a delay echo sound rather than sprayed out reverb. Lovely sidechained echoes and reverbs. So one really nice thing with Cosmic Debris, well, one of many really nice things, is that we have a slew rates control. And this changes the behaviour of time modulations, either moving the time knob or via CV. And with no slew rates, this actually crossfades between your time settings to remove kind of analog style artefacts, repitching as times move around. If I remove the modulation, that we'll add back shortly, simple enough synth sound. Coming in mono, this is clocked, out in stereo, 50-50 dry wet, a simple clock delay. Now holding shift, it's the scatter here, and we can see the shift function is slew rate, so making sure it's all the way down. As I move the time, you could hear that it was completely artifact free, none of that or kind of artifacts playing around. If I go faster again, slower. And if I add some slew time, let's say add half, this blue LED goes round to orange. So this is half slew time now. You can hear that blue. You can hear those analog style artifacts. And that might be desirable, so that's why you can tailor that setting. Get all those lovely repitching. And if I kill this and just go full slew rate, I'll just move from one clock division to the next. You can hear how slow it's kind of repitching and shifting in time. And again, if I remove that slew rate entirely, this goes blue and we're in that crossfade mode. We're totally artifact free. Which for a patch like this, where I might want to take, say, quite a wide-ranging step sequence. I can patch into time, maybe add a bit of feedback as I do it. And just really pull around between lots of different note divisions here. Without all those artifacts. If I did have those artifacts that would be present in, say, other forms of delay, let's just add some slew rate here. You can hear those effects. Which I didn't want for this example, but now I've heard them modulated around. It's really quite cool. So we have that slew time, repitching, delay time shifting artifacts, or clean crossfading between delay times under manual or CV control. So here I'm playing around with the gated freeze effect, modulating again between delay and reverb kind of effects, and creating a kind of reverse swell. Now if I just go dry here, it's a fairly vanilla beat with some probability of different rhythms playing. It's largely just a looping, simple beat. So this is the echo that I'd set. Let's first add, say, the freeze. Not doing a huge amount to this already kind of high feedback echo. I'll push this spray around, push feedback up with the same signal, then add this kill just to kind of tidy things up, which works really well with a beat, I find. That hard stop works really well with a beat. Gives a nice dramatic effect as well. And then finally, that inverted envelope, which is going to take us from a 50-50 mix down and back up again, giving this idea of a swell or kind of a reverse frozen reverb. Final thing, let's just add a bit of anomaly here. A little bit of glitch, bit reduction, some stutters. And if that was a bit intense, you could of course lower the mix, but you could also just filter this back. Let's remove the anomaly. So here I wanted to explore the gated glitch. I have a patch set up where I have two gate signals, or CV sequences acting like gate signals, where if I just remove this one, have a clocked cosmic debris playing against the loop that's coming in, and there's some probability of changing loops in this break, but it's largely the same break repeating. And then the first thing that I added was a gate or a CV signal that's high for a bar, pushing into adding an effect to one bar and then removing it. So off 2, 3, 4, on 2, 3, 4, off 2, 3, 4, on 2, 3, 4. And then on the second half of the bar, when this is on, the blue trace here, that's going into the gate, which I've set to be glitch. And again, if you hold the freeze button here with shift, you can cycle through and select glitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just play around with the settings and maybe try some shimmer in that warp mode. That's quite interesting. Let's shift that warp factor so it's not an octave up. Maybe pitch down a little bit. Let's go ratio mode. Maybe spray it out. That nice robotic. Bleep, bleep. So here's an already super characterful, vibey bit of audio from Patreon supporter Dries Gussens. Thank you for your support and for this great audio. It's with the Morpho Econ 6 polyphonic BBD instrument. And we're just going to get some lovely swelling, characterful poly sounds. And I'd like to explore the anomaly, so I just set up an ambience that I think suits, and then we'll get into that anomaly control. So let's go fully wet. Hold shift and move feedback for anomaly. I'll go all the way down to pick that up. Anomaly is off. I'm going full. It's just chaos. In a kind of oddly broken, beautiful way. If I back that off, so holding shift again, you can hear all this gritty, sputtering, kind of bit reduced effect. There's repitching, because it seems like it's kind of really ragging and modulating those delays around. But again, I just think a bit of it on a not too long overall ambience. It's real kind of beautiful, broken background texture. So here's some more Patreon supporter audio, this time a horse in a hospital, who also goes by dog-sized dragonflies, which I'll link down below. Thanks for the support and thanks for the great audio. And I'm using this following on from the last example because I want to explore anomaly again against this great beat. Now this just set as is, be a really highly kind of shapeable bit of ambience for this kind of beat. If I hold shift again and crank up anomaly, we can get some totally broken, great textures. And here's what WMD say about anomaly, and that's that it adds bit reduction and pitched buffer stutters into the delay network for a lo-fi glitchy effect. Now I think we could really tailor this, maybe with some sidechain. You can hear that kind of ducking around that input signal now. Big rumbling, glitchy textures. Let's maybe back anomaly off a bit. I'll really push that into, say, the high end. And it's a really great effect that when you take it away, got that lovely direct beat, but with just a bit of it, there's that crispy, anomaly-ridden, glitchy texture. I wanted to explore really small, tiny, tight, metallic resonator-like spaces, and I've ended up with this kind of like haunted flanger. It just sounds great. The dry input sound is plats, and it's this rounded kind of saw-like tone that's coming in, and I'm moving the control for a kind of formant-like folding of that waveform. Now going fully wet, the onboard modulation's moving these delay lines around in stereo. Giving this great, kind of glistening metallic flanger or resonator-like sound. Now I'm actually clocking cosmic debris. I'm in ratio mode as well. I'm clocking it from the audio at the input, so it's an audio rate clock coming in. And if I remove the modulation and go fully wet, Because I'm folding new peaks into this waveform at the input, that's also going to modulate the clock, as that's going to latch onto those different peaks in the waveform. So you can hear that kind of metallic pitch change as I modulate the waveform. If I remove that clock, that will then just be static. Yeah, it's kind of like the sound's living in a pipe or something. So continuing down the line of super short metallic resonator-like spaces, here's a beat from artist XP. I'll link him down below. And you can hear super short delay, nice metallic ringing space, and going fully wet. We've got nice, typical short delay effects. Through to super short Karplus Strong style sounds. You can hear there on that scatter extending out some of those delay lines. Let's add some modulation. We could go super fast, but maybe lower depth. Just adds a kind of wobbly wonkiness. This doing such a great kind of short Karplus-like sound. Let's actually ping it and see if we can create a Karplus Strong string synthesizer. So the sort of logical conclusion of exploring these short delays as kind of metallic resonator-like spaces is Karplus Strong synthesis, where you excite a delay line that's running at audio rates to create plucked string sounds, or bowed string sounds, as we'll do in a moment. Now if I remove the Volt Proctor from time here, this is a trigger exciting these delay lines. But as this responds dynamically, which is to say that level changes at the input will affect the result out of cosmic debris, I first made a dynamic impulse, which is good for any kind of Karplus Strong or say low pass gate style patching. Going to the dry sound here and just adjusting this VCA. The bottom VCA on the right hand side here as well is noise as my input, and I'm using this contour, the green tracing cables, just a decay envelope. And that decay envelope controls the level of the noise, and it's the output of that VCA, that noise, that then excites the delay line. But I've made this dynamic by using a step signal here. It's the red trace and the red cables. And that's because my envelope first comes into VCA 1, and then using the step signal to adjust the peak level of that envelope. So if I turn the manual control down, turn up the sequence, hopefully you can hear loud and soft velocities, different levels of sound here. So then when I go fully wet, hopefully you can hear quiet notes, accented notes, the idea of loud and soft, kind of basic velocity control. You can hold shift and press tap to make sure you're in free mode, and time all the way counterclockwise is then tuned to the note C3. Adding volt per octave to the time input then gives volt per octave tracking of pitch over the frequency or the time of those delays. Now feedback is the length of the notes. Time is the tuning. Modulation will add a chorus-like effect. Instantly nice in stereo there. We can scatter those delay times and lengths, which gives an almost kind of tremolo auto panner-like effect. Before going out to a kind of sub-octave sound, it's almost like one of those delay lines is half the length of the others, or double the length. Spray. A different kind of detune to more clangorous chordal sounds. And then the feedback, the width and the center bandpass filter in the feedback there will really drastically alter the sound of these plucked strings. Now if I slow my sequence right down and I make this sound fade in just by adding some rise time to this envelope, still the green trace, it's still got this dynamic step sequencing of envelope level. This will create some bold, sustained like sounds. Taking us away from the more typical plucked string sound. So if you're into just kind of sound effects, no input mixing style feedback, and just kind of big ambient washes, you can just use Cosmic Debris as an instrument or by itself. We're currently listening to its stereo output, just straight into the mixer being recorded here. And I've just pushed some dials around. And enjoy the sounds for a moment. You'll notice feedback's up full, and then just kind of ragging time around is enough to get you going. Well, that's good fun by itself, great for samples. You could be using this in, say, a low-pass gate to create percussion and your own unique hits that are maybe more useful than just random kind of effects throws. Although I'd encourage you to play around with random effects throws too. Coming through a passive low-pass gate here, here's this output split into the low-pass gate with some rhythmic triggering back into the mix in stereo. And you can hear it gives us some really great percussion that's full of character. And then adding a beat to that. And you could of course be using modulation rather than just throwing the dials around. Quite nice hi-hats there. So here I'm exploring glitchy behaviours, and I'm using some drums from Patreon supporter Truck. Thanks for these great drum sounds. It's part of the live set he's working on at the moment. It's a stereo mix, and here it is dry. And then as this is currently set, around 50-50 mix. Short feedback, scattery echoing sounds. But I've also held shift and freeze to change this behaviour to glitch on this gate. And if I take this into just the standard gate I can turn on and off, watch when this LED comes on. You can hear that kind of frozen, stuttering buffer. So we go for some more standard reverb there. Let's glitch it. Hopefully you can hear that grrr, kind of glitch effect. And if we go across to warp mode, which is shift and blast, we'd have that shimmer effect, the pitch shift, which if I go here to warp factor, which is the shift control, you can hear these octave up kind of glitches now. I could shift that down an octave instead. Hope you can hear that kind of pitched down, broken drum sound. It's intense, but I love it. So here's some more Patreon supporter audio from Dots. Thanks to them for the audio. It was a nice warm tip-top Buchla kind of patch recording that I've EQ'd, compressed, glitched up, wave wrapped, and really heavily shaped before I come in. This is fully dry, but suiting, I think, to these full-on modulated cosmic debris effects, with a gate to the gate input set to freeze, a long sustained gate to spray, which you can hear kind of pushes this out into reverb and then pulls back down to kind of echo, more delay-like effects. Have an LFO to feedback, and different random Logic Max Min LFOs coming in as well, to both wave and mod there with some big spread LFO modulation, giving us lots of width. So here's just some humongous kind of metallic reverb spaces. The sidechaining, we might add some anomaly to this as well. And this is a great sound from AM Frequencies. Andy Marshall, a patron supporter that sent audio in for this demo. Thanks to Andy for the audio. There is a great beat and sequence that he sent, but this ending bit of audio here, fully dry there, I thought it's just going to kind of bloom into this big space really well. And it absolutely does. I've added some sidechain here. If I remove that, this reverb just keeps playing all over that dry sound. If I make it quite extreme, and that's holding shift and moving the sidechain control, notice you get that big bloom and then that heavy duck. And the input sound goes quiet there. Backing that off slightly. Ratio mode, scatter, lots of spray, a little bit of mod, a little bit of filter. Just massive. I'm going to hold shift and move the feedback, the anomaly control. Kind of intensely glitchy with those kind of pitched little kind of stutters going on, but a little bit of it. And then backing the mix off. Absolutely massive, big kind of metallic space. Drop a cosmic sync down in the comments if you've got this far in the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the patrons that sent in audio to be used. That was good fun with some great sounds and patches. Patreon.com/DivKid if you'd like to support and join in with this sort of thing in the future. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!